It's prom season, all right? Guys, let me know, what do you think about when you think about prom, all right? Maybe coming of age, graduating from high school, becoming an adult, celebrating with your friends, your family, perhaps that little girlfriend that you've had for the last 6 months that's going to inevitably end in about 6 months from now. Whatever it is. Or what if I told you that entire families are going into debt to finance proms?
I beg your pardon?
Much different yet necessary content to go over here today, because we're going to touch on how the beginning of these unrealistic standards and expectations are placed on modern men today, and as well as a culture of people that more value or more prioritize looking like wealth as opposed to enacting things within their life to be wealthy. We're gonna get greasy on this one, family. So without further ado.
All right, between the dress, the tickets, the limo, prom is expensive, but the people shelling out the most money for it are the families who are least able to afford it.
That's according to a new Visa survey. Families earning less than $25,000 per year will spend an average of $1,400 on prom costs. Those earning more than $50,000 per year are only spending about $800. And about a third of those costs include the invitations themselves.
What?
I never had an invitation to prom.
Now, according to these numbers, families with less than $25,000 a year in income are shelling out damn near 10% to have their daughter show off to all of her friends. What this also could be is that the people that report less than $25,000 a year are actually doing other things to earn income, right? Under the table, so they don't have to report that. But that actually goes back to a previous conversation in regards to Section 8. People who don't need Section 8 are reporting lower income to receive $13 a month in rent. Meanwhile, while keeping other people who really need it on the waiting list.
What?
But whether or not it's $25,000 a year, $50,000 a year, or $75,000 a year, $1,400 is crazy.
And about a third of those costs include the invitations themselves. I never had an invitation to prom.
I didn't get an invitation to prom either.
Well, they just asked you, right?
Well, no, I was the one doing the asking, and it was nervous and, shaking and hand sweating. A survey found that students are spending upwards of $300 on so-called prom proposals. That's crazy. The extravagant gestures include gifts of jewelry, paying a large group to sing or perform some sort of elaborate skit, or even using an animal as a prop. That did not happen when I was in high school.
No. We just asked, right? And then you said yes, and maybe you got a limo.
Yeah.
If you were lucky.
So it used to be utilized as a place to celebrate becoming an adult. Now has influences from business, now has influence from social media to make it a stunt fest. Meanwhile, you're creating this expectation without teaching these kids the value of money, without teaching these kids how to save money, prioritizing putting money into prom damn proposals as opposed to their college fund. You have families literally going into debt from it. But let me ask you this. Outside of the need to at least be perceived as abundant, what value is it actually giving you? And when do you stop it? No wonder that these young men today are going out on these dates. The roof Chris, they'll shit on you if you want to take them to the Cheesecake Factory. All the way up to if a man gets down on bended knee and then he finds out later on that she wanted to get married for the wedding, right? The celebration, as opposed to get married to be a wife. Should be the perfect opportunity for parents to be able to instill these values within them, but that doesn't seem to be happening.
This young lady spent how much on her prom? Let's talk about it. Quick disclaimer, you guys know that price breakdowns is what I do. I have nothing negative to say about this young woman. She looks absolutely beautiful. I'm here to just talk about the prices. All right, so we got $135 for the lashes, which is pretty normal, I think. Up next, we have the hair for $1,200, and that includes the hair and the install. Okay, eyebrows for $10. Her nails were free because she did them herself, and she did a great job, and her toes were paid by her man. I know that's right. Okay, so her makeup was $300, which looks great, by the way, and her earrings were $400. I just want to know what earrings those are. Okay, so the hotel was $600.
Hey, mama. Okay, quick question. It's prom, and I asked you to get me a hotel for after prom. What would you say?
I guess I could, since it's prom, depending on how much it costs.
Oh, period. I know that's right. I really expected you to say, girl, no, what you need a hotel for?
Okay, so the event space was $1,000, and for the Tesla Cybertruck rental, $2,000. $1,450 in total for photography and videography. She had multiple different shoot options, but the one she picked was $600. Y'all, get into the dress. Her dress was $18,000, and yes, it's custom made. All right, so her prom date suite and hair was $500.
You can find all of those fascinators and more in my Amazon storefront. I update it daily, so you can achieve the same looks for the low. Because remember, we may not have that kind of money, but we got Amazon money over here. Thank you guys for supporting me. It means the absolute world to me.
All right, y'all ready for this grand total? The grand total is $26,245.
Outside of those ridiculous ass costs, it is crazy that they're getting a hotel room for a high schooler. Nevertheless, I found this episode of the Tamron Hall Show particularly interesting. Let's listen, because there's some things to learn within this mom's psyche.
Apparently, prom is bigger than ever, more expensive than ever. In fact, since 1998, prom prices have risen 40% through March 2023. Proms have always been pricey, let's face it. The prom begins before the kid even arrives at the event. You got the outfit, you got the tickets, you got the accessory, you got the cars because you wanted to get there safely, and all the other things, you're just racking up the bills. Well, the latest trend on TikTok is posting price breakdowns of the entire thing.
Look at this.
One high school junior from Philadelphia, Fella Burke, has caused quite a conversation. She posted that her mom spent over $10,000 on her prom.
Pay attention.
Philly, I can tell you, having lived there for 4 years, seems to be the hot spot for really gorgeous and elaborate proms. But in this case, like with anything on social media, people had opinions about how much was spent and whether or not it was worth it. And Fela responded. Take a look.
Y'all got it all mixed up. I'm just going to clear a lot of comments right now. So a lot of people are just saying like, oh, $10K, that's ridiculous, la, 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 la. Which is understandable because I know a lot of people that's not normal for a lot of people and stuff, but it's not like I'm trying to brag or anything, or I even see people comparing themselves.
If you weren't trying to brag, why did you post it?
It's not this.
The gaslight be so uncomfortable.
Serious. Like, I would never compare yourself because I think everybody, like, I've seen looks that cost $200 that looked cute.
Please welcome Fela and her mom, Maricela.
The young lady can barely talk.
So I always tell people around here that, listen, we can have our opinions, but I try to have a judgment-free zone. So I want you to understand you are safe here. This is your money, and you do with what you want to do with your money. That's what I'm going to start there. But I'm going to go to the money because you posted it. Maricela, I love you. You love this kid. The dress was $1,300, right? The shoes were $4,900. The send-off was $3,900. Your hair was $175. They gave you a great price on the hair because hair is good. $750 on photos and videos. $4,000 on a car rental. And you got the hotel so everyone could get ready, and that was $1,600. The total was $16,625. You love this kid. I'm going to say it one more time. Take me through the process. What made you want to blow it out that way?
Tamron Hall is right. It's a free country, baby. You can do whatever what you please with your money, but was this the most intelligent decision? And this wasn't a family decision. This was a mom decision. Because newsflash, no man is present here. $16,000 on one night that goes into other people's business as opposed to a college fund plan or investing it into the stock market or just funding an emergency fund. But listen to the mom's words because it's going to tell a lot about her behavior.
So as you mentioned, prom is really big in Philadelphia.
Huge.
But I didn't get to go on my prom, and I'm the only one out of 4 that didn't. And I know that was something my mom really, really wanted. So I just told myself that I wanted to give my daughters a big prom, and Fela had initially came to me saying that she was going to go on someone else's prom, and I already had some ideas. So I was like, we can't do that. I don't want you to outshine anyone. So I kind of talked her into going to her own prom.
You talked her into going to her prom.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, when I saw the video, I knew there had to be something much more emotional. You didn't get to go on your prom.
No.
And you wanted to give her an experience that you never had.
Yeah.
I.e., living vicariously through her daughter.
Yes.
I get that. Take me to the decision to post, because when you put something on social media, you know that the social media square is going to comment. Some of those things were hurtful. I'm choosing not to read some of them because I don't even know you and they made me upset. But people were pretty harsh, but you put it out there.
All right. I put it out there. It was trending to do it.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I do content myself. So I was like, I'm just going to do what's trending for prom. So I just made like 3 TikToks and they all did pretty good, but that one ended up becoming like a really big discussion.
Why did you respond?
I replied because I'm okay with opening up and telling people, because I know a lot of people were assuming that we couldn't afford it. So that was the big thing too.
Yeah, there was a big thing
that
of
was
like
a big
how
thing.
You can't afford it.
Yeah.
You should be spending this money on college for her. How did that make you feel?
Initially, I was upset. Like, I caught myself reading the comments like, oh no, I'm about to make a page. I gotta respond. But then I just pulled her to the side and I said, listen, this is why I'm a little against, social media, because if you're not, she has a huge following, and I tell her that if you're not ready for negative feedback, then maybe that you shouldn't go that route. But I do like the way she responded. I told her, be positive, don't come at anyone, because we do know some people aren't fortunate enough to have it, but just explain, we have it, we did it, and you can do the same.
This is where the delusion and the irrational decision-making in regards to requirements from a man begins, and it's just so crazy, the psychology within this, because it comes from a mother that essentially is trying to live vicariously through her. The girl didn't even want to even go to her prom, but the mother convinced her to go to the prom so then she can spend the $16,000 on. That's wild. And without a father structure within the household, you got to think, like, what is there to help level set expectations from the average modern man today? Because unless you can afford a lifestyle that would allow purchases like this, she's not even gonna look your way, because they're more willing to go into debt, utilize credit, because they wanted something extravagant. There are dudes right now that are about to sign their life away on a dotted line on a cost or an expenditure for a wedding that they know for damn sure they shouldn't be paying that amount to. But all because of what? Because the woman's mind is entrapped in this wedding industry, one of which is worth billions of dollars every single year, because they also want to promote to all of their friends, hey, look at how extravagant my life is, or look at how cool that we are, or how much money that we make by this 17-layer cake that no one even wants to eat. Y'all can miss me with all that other bullshit, because I say this at the end of it. At the end of the day, it's wild to me that people are going into debt because of this, because it's the memories that should be priceless, not the price tag. All right, guys, let me know what you think down in the description box down below. Any of my G's out there in the MT Army, do you have kids that are currently going through this right now? Any of the younger men in the MT Army, have you just recently experienced any of this? Any of the MTRers? I want to know the ladies' thoughts in regards to the rising prom costs or the rising wedding costs, especially in this inflationary society here today. I think that we all need to be making a lot better financial decisions in order to create true flexibility within our life. Last but not least, I got a men's self-development community where I have financial guides that talk about wise decision-making to create financial freedom into the future. I've created financial freedom for myself, and I'm giving you guys the tools to create it for yourself. Link to it down in the description box down below. Click up, beam up, join us. It's a big brotherhood back there. We actually have a conversation happening on Friday between me and the fellas. Come through, all right? But until next time, you two, peace.
She belongs to the street.
Girl, don't hold my hand. You a mattress actress on the OnlyFans. Get your money, girl, but damn, how is that your only plan? What you gonna do when you get too old to strip and dance? Get up out your echo chamber screaming period and yes. You a low down dirty woman if you try to get knocked up by a high value man.